This is Darkside Thrillers, your weekly turn on and tune in to serialized fiction, taking you into those bone-chilling moments when humanity twists beyond the point of no return. Who hasn't taken a shortcut down a back alley you thought you'd survive? But then, there's that noise of rustling leaves, that smell of someone lingering near. And you just know. I am your host, Elijah Summerfield, welcoming you to Darkside Thrillers, Season 1. It begins with Kept, an 8-week serialized thriller by Wodahl. You get hooked into the lives of 3 sociopaths, one who kills, one who hunts for truth, and one who will kill to hide it. Among bones and trophies under a cathedral, there's a kept secret with an appetite to hunt. Adult content. Audience discretion advised.
In Episode 2, there are losses that break people apart. Like Kathy Shelton, whose son is taken. The detective's investigation darkens, and Kenzie Pratt finds evidence she wasn't looking for, in a place she shouldn't have entered. Episode 3 finds Michael Nubold caught unexpectedly by 2 women with different motives, and evidence he has to lock away. Episode 3, Investigations. Before Michael Nubold stepped into the cathedral basement and saw Kenzie Pratt disappear upstairs, he had been delivering a Saturday morning lecture for his summer course. Students who sourced him would know Michael had been in the news from the time he could crawl. He was the son of Theodore and Christina Nubold, a pharmaceutical team who amassed their wealth from one exotic location to the next, in pursuit of youth and health in a black market empire. Owning homes on 5 continents, the Nubolds educated their only child in private schools, home classrooms, and laboratories. While they lavished him with extravagant trips and playthings, his family life was a bizarre collection of strangers and specimens and experiments gone wrong. There were bodyguards and professional cleanup crews. As a grad student, Michael managed to escape the Nubold circus when he was accepted into Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. He got both his master's and doctorate, and eventually entered teaching. He lived a reasonable life of privacy with his hidden collections and quiet, disposable relationships. As a professor, he liked the feel of the lectern, running his hand over its smooth, non-organic surface, while the light from the screen behind him illuminated his students' faces as though they were specimens behind glass. This Saturday morning, he had ended his lecture with a PowerPoint on the final act of life. The last slide, entitled, "What Science is Finding." Confidently, he left the podium and walked toward his audience, leaning into them as if each one were his only listener.
Invariably, scientists say these 2 things. First, that all people before their death experience their life review, their lives flashing before them. And secondly, their brains have conscious thought, sometimes for as long as 10 minutes, with brainwaves similar to those in sleep.
He noticed an older student in the second row raising her hand. He walked towards her, almost brushing the legs of students in the first row.
Question? Name?
Cherise Lee could have been mistaken for a CEO, tailored in a black jacket, white blouse, and canoe pants. She removed her glasses and put her phone down.
Hi, I'm Cherise Lee. My question is, how is that possible? 10 minutes of brain activity? Professor Nubold, could you expand on it?
He smiled at her childlike curiosity and speculated about her Asian features and auburn hair. Asian/Celtic, he wondered.
Well, Cherise, the prefrontal, medial, temporal, and parietal cortices are not susceptible to oxygen and blood loss during serious injuries. They are the last brain functions to suffer.
You still have to wonder why it releases memories to a dying person. How does that happen?
He thought she'd be able to solve a Rubik's Cube in record time, or skin and fillet a blue marlin with precision.
Cherise, we're not quite there yet.
His smile broadened. Then he returned to the lectern. He found it difficult to wrap up. He felt words weren't being articulated.
All right, everyone. Email me your thoughts and concerns. Check this week's discussion forum. Have a great weekend.
Cherise smiled and hung back, then approached Michael.
Professor Nubold,
Call me Michael, please.
Michael, can I share a personal experience with you related to today's lecture?
Sure. I don't have a class, so we can stay here for a while.
He pointed to the seat where her bag was. She led the way and slid into the chair, turning sideways to face him. Michael sat beside her and waited, found it difficult not to stare at her unique beauty. She started slowly to recall the storm and imagery and fear that day of her encounter.
I almost drowned in a boating accident. They actually said I had drowned but was revived. We were whale watching off the coast of Digby. The boat capsized and I went over. I can't remember having a life review. I don't think it happened to me. I would have remembered.
She was trembling. Michael noticed.
You're shivering. The air is so cold in here. Do you want to leave?
I'm okay, but what's really interesting is I have experienced an LRE before I had the boating accident.
How many times have you almost died? You're not a jinx, are you? You're not contagious, I hope.
No, I'm not. The other time was different.
In what way?
We were skiing in BC, and there was a massive cougar that wouldn't leave us alone. It didn't charge, but it stalked us and wouldn't leave. It kept on getting closer. I went into some sort of trance, like a paralysis, and everything flashed before me. I swear it was a life review that didn't happen when I drowned.
I can offer an explanation. Not sure if it's adequate. You were terrified, thought it was going to attack, and you just shut down, like a simulated death. Then you had your life review.
But the cougar left. 2 of my friends jumped at it and screamed. They scared it away.
Actually, others have experienced what you did. A terror-driven, near-death experience, during which their lives flashed before them. It does happen. Since we're sharing, I did die when I was 6 and was obviously resuscitated.
Suddenly, she laughed, then stopped.
Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry.
He smiled.
Wasn't expecting that.
That wasn't funny. Sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I just thought the only life review experience you'd have would be Oscar warning planes not to land near his trash can.
That is kind of funny. I forgive you.
She felt comfortable enough to probe.
So, What happened to you?
Well, my family and I were living in Africa, where my dad was building a bridge on our estate, and I was bitten by a snake. I died for 5 minutes, then came back. I don't think I had a life review, but then what could a 6-year-old remember? Like you said.
How long were you in Africa?
Until I was 9, then India for 3 years, Brazil for 5, Queen's U after that.
And you chose Kingston, Ontario? Why?
Why not? No predators.
She picked up her phone, checked the time.
I have to go. It was really nice talking with you, Michael.
Me too.
He stood up and backed away to give her space to pack up.
See you next week.
Suddenly, he became brave.
Or sooner, maybe?
He watched her put each item in a pre-assigned compartment, certain she had heard him. Then boldly asked,
Are you seeing someone? Should I be asking that? Maybe not, but I'm single and we're probably the same age, 30 plus.
He wrinkled his nose, questioning his own forwardness. Usually, women approached him, and not in a classroom, and not when he was sober. She smiled at him.
Does your nose always wrinkle when you break protocol? I've been single for 2 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days. I feel like I've had fucking open heart surgery, whatever that feels like, but thanks for asking. And yes, I'm over 30.
What about something like a book signing and reading tomorrow night? Not a date, just a casual sharing.
He caught her lips press into one another in uncertainty.
Still too forward? I'm not usually like this, but you're easy to be with, Cherise. Like, we've known each other for a while.
I totally get that. This doesn't usually happen to me. But right now, I'm at the stage where I've stopped crying myself to sleep, but still can't listen to my playlists.
Yeah, music can cut deep if this person meant something.
He did. So, not quite ready for a not quite date. I'm not there yet.
I'd like to try to help you with that.
His smile lingered as she reached out and touched his arm.
I'm not saying I don't want you to. I need to get more grounded.
She smiled and left, stopping once to turn back and nod at him, a gesture not to give up. Then, after Michael's Saturday morning class, he went to the cathedral, stepped into the basement, and witnessed this tall, young redhead quickly escape, like a lab rat scurrying out of his private space, a trespasser. He raced upstairs, through the vestry, and into the cathedral.
Hey, you! I'm talking to you!
He called accusingly. Quickly, she picked up her violin case and hurried down the aisle with her bag slung over her shoulder. She looked back once to see Michael standing rigidly and wondered why she needed to escape. For some uncanny reason, she compared him to her cancer invading her in its early stage. She tried to shake it off, but couldn't, hurried to her car and sped away. He wondered what she had heard and seen in the tunnel. His heart pounded. His mouth felt dry. He needed answers and found Mandy Everton, the church steward, working in her office. Forcing himself to stay calm, he asked,
Mandy, do you have a minute?
Her furrowed brow relaxed. A smile formed as her eyes softened.
Michael, it's always nice seeing you. I just put a pot of coffee on in the apartment. Would you like a cup?
Mandy lived alone in the adjacent apartment at the side of the cathedral and managed its operations, budget, and event scheduling. She had instantly liked Michael when he first inquired about leasing the basement space as storage.
I just had one, Mandy, but thanks.
He took a deep breath.
It's good to see you too. I just need something clarified. A young woman was downstairs, and I'm not sure how that happened. Do you know anything about it?
Today?
Yeah, like right now. Who is she?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Michael.
Mandy's forehead ridged again.
How did she get access?
She thought of the day's arrivals and departures.
I apologize. There was a delivery early this morning, and I asked the courier to use the basement entrance to save time. I forgot to lock the vestry door after. My mistake. But she wouldn't have taken anything. I'm sure she wouldn't have.
So, was there an event here? I saw her leaving with a violin case. Who is she?
Her name is Kenzie Pratt. She's CEO, Justin Pratt's 18-year-old daughter. She was rehearsing for a classical fundraising concert next Sunday for pediatric cancer care. She's won awards, been on tour in Europe and South America. She's in a trio that promises to be truly great.
It's just that I have priceless artifacts in storage. I thought you knew that. And I know she was downstairs. I saw her when I came in.
He thought a minute, calculating how he'd get her contact.
You know, I admire her spirit, and especially at her age, at 18. Wow. I'm going to make a substantial donation. I'm feeling very, very generous. 10,000, in fact. Is that a weird thing to do, seeing as I've never met her?
He leaned toward her and smiled.
Oh, Michael, I don't know what to say. I'm sure Kenzie will be thrilled.
Do you have her contact so that I can talk to her about promoting her event at the university?
Yes, of course. It's right here. I'll text her cell to you and the link to the event.
Thank you, Mandy. I hope to see you there. And I apologize if I came off too whiny. Sorry for that.
His blue eyes locked with hers. He checked his messages. He smiled, winked, and left. Agitated, he sat in the car, turned on the air, and tried to cool off. As he thought about contacting Kenzie, the local radio interrupted with breaking news. In local news, police are asking the public to keep watchful of a missing 12-year-old boy, Mac Shelton, who was last seen at his home on Lake Trail Road in Waverly. He was wearing a medium blue sweatshirt and blue pants. Michael closed his eyes to focus, then rushed back into the basement. What the fuck were you doing in my basement, Kenzie Pratt? What did you see? Did you see her? He muttered out loud. Sweat flooded his pores as he rushed through the tunnels, over the underground bridge, until he came to a blue hoodie dropped on the floor. He stumbled backward at the discovery and looked into the darkness of Kovu's room. Had Pratt seen her? Had she seen the boy's sweatshirt? He slumped to the floor, reached out for the shirt, and placed it in the doorway of Kovu's room.
How did this get here? I told you not to hunt. You disobeyed me. Now I'm going to nail the storm door down. Lock you in. You'll stay inside and you won't eat today. But then, we both know you don't always hunt to eat.
She was silent. He grabbed the hoodie and pulled himself up. He stopped, heartbroken that she had breached his trust and that he was beginning to find her repulsive. He wondered if he could ever trust her again. He rushed to get away from her toxic presence. When he got to the basement door, he opened his briefcase and hid the sweatshirt in it. Quickly, he took out his cell and found Kenzie's contact. He needed more time to think, to calculate the risks and damages, and how to convince her to play nice. As Kenzie rushed away, flight mode took hold. Joints weakened and muscles cramped. The tension spiraled outwards from her tightening spine to her chest, shoulders, hips, legs. Her head was about to explode at the thoughts of becoming involved, trapped, abused by an unjust system. By the age of 11, the system placed Kenzie under house arrest for stealing one of her dad's cars, a 1963 Ferrari 250 GTO. And at 13, the courts escorted her into a detention center. It happened after the last diagnosis was made in Germany, and a soulless nurse told Kenzie to just give up and die, that she was wasting specialists' valuable time trying to get a positive prognosis. Kenzie retaliated with clenched fists and hit the nurse 3 times in the face, then knocked her down. She kneeled over her and kept punching until security tore her off and put her on her dad's private jet. Back home, the police charged her and locked her up without any interference from her father. So, even though her rich dad and his barely 30-year-old partner thought Kenzie would never survive adolescence, she did. Although she walked a fine line between being feral and civilized, she started changing her reckless life of abandonment and solitude to one of part-time social actualization. She focused more on her musical genius and how to awake others to theirs. Addicted to her passion, she taught violin, gave charitable concerts, and studied sometimes in school, but mostly online. She didn't trust people her own age to be kind to her, so she preferred being alone, without friends. Besides, she had a therapist, a physiotherapist, a caregiver, and Rosa, her dad's personal driver, who was her friend. And she enjoyed sabotaging her dad's ridiculous relationships and pretending she was always on the verge of extinction, even though she thought her dad was done with her. Arriving home, her physiotherapist worked his magic, and she self-medicated after he left. Relaxing in her bedroom, she caught the ongoing news alert about Mac Shelton's disappearance and the official police warning to the public to supervise children in wooded areas and not to let pets off their leashes. She looked at her photos of the blue-stained sweatshirt. It matched the one in the emergency poster of Mac Shelton. She stopped streaming and paced, thinking of what needed to be done in the morning. First on the list was returning to the cathedral to try to gain access to the sub-level and search it more closely. If the hoodie had been removed, she needed to call the police against her better judgment, because she was the last person they'd ever want to talk to. And they terrified her to the point of coma. She had been at war with them and always would be. The Waverly Police Services was in the historic courthouse with a bespoke, upgraded exterior and a completely gutted interior, redesigned with all the latest police service technology, which Detectives Chisholm and Titus eagerly learned to use. Their desks were adjacent to each other, an arrangement they welcomed, away from their plodding yet reliable colleagues who had been in Waverly from their teenage years, but provided a solid, reliable support team. They were examining the first forensics report.
How could there be nothing else except Mac's DNA on the bark?
How high up?
14 feet. They found cracked branches, like the ones in the ravine, but that's it. There was no evidence Mac was in the lake. They're not diving at this point.
What about Poppins's coat and the branches?
Nothing.
I'm going back. It had to come off somehow. If it was on that branch, then something else is up there too. Hair, skin, something they missed.
Jack could let a lot of things go, but not this.
How about checking out new leads?
We've ruled out friends, family, and neighbors. So, newcomers and the Sex Offender Registry?
You got it. We'll compare notes later.
As a preschooler, Michael wanted to be a superhero. A boy with a magic golden cape that could sparkle in the sunlight, like a mirage, or ripple like sunlit diamonds on the water. Of course, he was invisible and heroically saved animals in distress, or children whose cries had been ignored, or kids who wanted to run away. At the age of 9, he traded in his golden cape for a black dragon, and together they terrorized bad people until they died in their nightmares from sheer fear. At 14, he had given up heroism for painkillers in order to survive his parents' plans to unnaturally reshape him. Changes he didn't want and had no power to fight them with. So he survived until his 17th birthday when a fire destroyed half of their Brazilian estate and labs, killing his parents and many of their rare specimens and black market pharmaceuticals. He became a free, rich orphan who wanted nothing more than quiet studies, ownership of what was left, and a philanthropic life with his best friend, Kovu, a friend he had raised and cared for since her birth. He studied at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, and McGill in Montreal, where he got a master's and doctorate in both cognitive and social psychology. He chose a lecture hall over a lab in which to apply his learning. He loved the hush in the lecture hall that spread through the audience as he began his lecture, like the hush in the theater when lights dimmed and the performance was about to begin. He stood quietly in front of his students as they observed a slide with an artwork of people passing through doors. Michael turned to the audience and watched their faces, decoding the imagery.
Here is a quote from a famous woman about dying. Death is no more than passing from one room to another. But there's a difference for me, you know, because in the other room, I'll be able to see. Said by Helen Keller. For next class's discussion, find 2 more quotes about death and write a response for each one.
As the students packed up and filed out, Cherise joined Michael at the podium.
How did you become so knowledgeable about death and dying? People think about it after losing a loved one, but normally they don't study it. What drew you into it?
When you live in the places I've lived in, you see a lot of it. If the indigenous critters don't get you, a sniper will, or bad food, drugs, or parents will. I've seen enough to know a thing or two.
Mortality's a bitch.
I can tell you firsthand, life is so much more threatening and dangerous in the mangrove swamps of Central America or the Amazon rainforests. More predators there than in Waverly.
The burbs have different predators. What about these disappearances? And now this missing boy. Sorry to be so negative.
She paused, smiled shyly at him, and wrinkled her nose.
So, you wrinkle your nose too. Are you rethinking things?
What things would they be? Oh, yeah, Professor Nubold. Your invitation to spend some quality time with you. And I think I'm ready, sort of.
Let me guess. You listened to your playlists.
I've been thinking about you. And this strange effect you have on me.
I have an effect on you?
I think you should find out what it is.
How brave are you?
Not brave enough for a mangrove swamp, but dinner at your place? Am I moving too fast? I'll bring the food.
I'm okay with you setting the pace.
Quickly, she looked around to check the room was empty, then kissed his mouth, brushing her lips over his, and giving him time to get aroused, she hoped.
Dinner then?
Does tonight work? 7? I'll bring takeout. Preferences?
Surprise me.
Allergies?
Nope.
She squeezed his arm and left, and didn't see him close his eyes, smiling at his small victory over his darker, rougher compulsions. Ones that made him get close, then leave, without women even knowing he had wounded them. He felt totally relaxed and safe with this woman. He didn't know why. Jack had always loved the woods, a mysterious place with hidden treasures under rocks and leaves. He loved its sudden sounds and movements and the wind in treetops. But these woods had been desecrated, stained, and as a result, he felt totally vulnerable, jumping at unexpected sound bursts. He got into his climbing gear and carefully scaled the tree, examining each branch for fissures. He balanced his flashlight and magnifying glass on the branch he wanted to inspect and found a knot with something sharp protruding from it. He hoisted himself onto the branch, straddled it, and inched toward the knot. He examined the pointed fragment with the light before extracting it. It was a very small part of a large tooth. Carefully scraping it out of the bark, he held it with tweezers, then bagged it. His descent was more difficult, his right knee weakening to the point of buckling, but it held. Suddenly, a sound above him broke his focus as he looked skyward into a dark, cloudy mass that eclipsed the light. He wished he could see better. His hands felt clammy. As his neck arched backward, he thought he saw a shape move among the branches, but nothing was there. Feeling off balance, he quickly moved into the trunk and hung on. He took a moment before scaling down, then steadied himself, made it to ground level and packed up his gear. Looking closely at the new evidence, Jack paled with the realization that the tooth fragment was exotic. Insatiable, relentless, described Kenzie's pursuit of truth, justice. She took unnatural risks with her movement, with music, with relationships. She knew it was risky returning to the cathedral to explore, but did it. There were no cars, no interference. She parked in the front lot and walked through the nave to track down Mandy Everton. She had a plan. As she was about to try the vestry door behind the altar, Mandy opened it unexpectedly. Kenzie jumped.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kenzie, if I scared you.
No worries. I didn't see a car in the lot, but was hoping you'd be here. Yeah, I think I left a sweater downstairs after my rehearsal, but the door is locked. The sweater was a present from my dad. It's Dior vintage.
You should have contacted me first. The vestry door is always locked. It should have been locked when you were here the other day. The basement is rented out as storage. I'll have Professor Nubold take a look, but he was here earlier and didn't mention it. I hope you don't mind if I gave him your contact. He's interested in making a donation to the fundraiser and wanted to contact you.
A donation? That's so nice of him.
Wait till you see what he's donating. I was shocked. I shouldn't tell you, but $10,000.
What? 10,000? Could I have his contact too? I'll send him complimentary tickets. I won't tell him you told me the amount, I promise.
For sure, Kenzie. Come with me to the office.
After she left with Michael's contact info, Kenzie drove down the road, parked, and walked back to the field and cemetery behind the church. She panned the area and spotted a sandy embankment partly shaded by trees. On the embankment, there was a boarded-up storm door that was old and moss-covered. As she approached, she took out her phone to get a pic and noticed impressions in the sand she couldn't identify, but took photos. She walked to the door, stood over it, and noticed a new 2x4 nailed over the door to secure it. She looked back to check that no one was looking. Crouching down, she moved her head closer to the old, chipped slats that had narrowed with erosion and rot. Her eyes moved along the slat.
Mac? Mac, are you down there? Mac, I'm Kenzie Pratt. I live in Waverly. Say something, please. You don't have to be afraid.
Her mouth started to dry. Thump, thump, thump against the door from below. She jumped back. Cautiously, she pulled at the 2x4 that bolted the door to the frame. She couldn't pry it loose.
I can't open it. Say something.
She waited. The door thumped again, and dust rose in a cloud over it. She fell to her stomach and lowered her face to the slat. There was that smell again. She peered into the darkness. A soft growl sounded close, like the one she heard before. Kenzie froze, then tilted her head and moved her right eye into the narrow space between the boards. "You fucking psycho," she called herself. There was just enough light that caught what she thought was part of an eye staring up at her. Wasn't human. Kenzie scrambled backwards, unable to get enough air. Gasping, she stood up, rushed to the car, got in, locked it, and tried to let air back into her lungs. Two things kept her alive in this war she never asked for: meds and truth. This ends episode 3. In the next episode, discovery leads our characters to death, rage, hysteria, and unexpected love, the kind Michael has never experienced. Voice and sound production by Darkside Thrillers. Ambient music by Richard Moule. Sound recording by Mike Donaldson. Thanks to music and sound artists at Pixabay. Join us in a week for episode 4, and life goes on.